Hello, everyone. My name is Beverly Knox Davis, and I just want to say thank you for tuning in for another episode of the A Brighter Day podcast. Please check us out on all social media platforms, and we're just going to jump right in today because we have the amazing Reggie Robinson.
Oh, you just made my day.
We are super excited that he is actually going to bring the inspirational word for the celebration of Kings that will be held on June 20th. Mark your calendars. That's next Saturday. Or whenever you're watching, it's the upcoming Saturday. I'm just super excited. That's 12 to 4 at 511 South Hoskins Road. So we're going to jump right in. My questions today are just wow. You all don't even understand. This gentleman has such a story to share, and I wish we had even more time at the event for him to share his story. But tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll dive right into what your expectations are of the event and what you're hoping that the men will take away.
I would say first, I am a Charlottean, born and raised. Yes, from the South Side of Charlotte, where I grew up. Most of my life, grew up in Ramblewood. Those who are familiar with Ramblewood, spent a lot of my time there. Went to South Mecklenburg High School, and my wife was born on the West Side of
Okay,
Charlotte. So you got
sorry.
South Side, West Side connection.
Love it.
But a little bit about myself. I just think I am. I'll say it like this: I'm a survivor.
Indeed.
And we can learn and dive into that so much. But I have had two liver transplants and a kidney transplant, and it's because of the grace of God that I'm here today. Get
Absolutely.
emotional every time I talk about it,
Yes.
because if you
Yes.
think about the last breath that we all breathe, and you're just having the opportunity just to breathe life. It's big. So
Oh,
I'm encouraged that I get to talk to some great men to talk about what God is doing and how God, even with our last breath, we get opportunities to share. And so that's where my heart is.
oh, you're gonna make me because I tell pieces of your story
Yeah.
and share the videos to inspire people. Maybe some that have come here and they're going through health issues, and I said, you know what? I know a man that, oh my goodness, just listen to a piece of this, you'll be okay. And then it's always inspiring for those that may be going through. And then we have men that come here and they're
Yeah.
just in a space. And I wish that we had someone on site all the time to address some of their needs because, they're going through. And
Exactly.
many of them might have some health issues,
Hmm.
but then some that are homeless and going through. So if you were to meet, which I know you will,
Yeah.
on Saturday, some of these men that will just simply show up, what encouraging word would you share with them to just say, keep going?
I think that's big. I mean, to just dive into that, just to think about it, first thing I would say is me too. I've been in a
I love it.
situation where me and my wife were in a situation where, in our marriage, early on in our marriage, where we didn't have no place to go. That's a part of my story as well. Is that we were going to crisis lines and needing support from crisis line for support, and then those things enabled me to give back to other people,
Wow.
even the kids that I were able to serve for 13 years in education. And so I would let them know, like, hey, me too. I've been there. I understand. I know the struggle. I know what it feels like to want to be your best and don't know
Oh
what
my
their
goodness.
best looks like. I know what it
Absolutely.
looks like when you feel isolated and you don't know where the next turn is going to happen or what God is going to do in the next situation. But I
Absolutely.
do know a God who can.
Oh my.
And
Oh
so, in
my.
the midst of every situation that you face,
Hmm.
there are moments and precious moments that God shows up. There's a favorite song of mine that always talks about waiting time is not wasted time.
Oh, I
And
love
so,
that.
what I would say to all the men is in the moments that you feel like this time may be wasted,
Hmm.
God is pruning and making something better for your good.
Oh my
We
goodness.
may not know what it looks like in the moment, but we
Hmm.
can faith it and know that God has an
Oh, I love
opportunity
that.
for us.
Faith it. Oh, you guys better be taking notes. That's some good stuff. I did not know that part
Yeah,
of
yeah.
you all's story. And that's huge. And I think it's going to really resonate with the men that you speak with on Saturday. So, also, the mothers and wives,
100%.
they show up too. And I've had to have a really tough conversation with some of them on this particular day. For these 4 hours, you will be nice and you will be a family unit. I only want to see people having a wonderful time as a family unit. So through all of that, I know they're challenging times.
Yeah, yeah.
And for a man, how do you work through some of the things that I know
Ooh, Lord.
they're going through? I hear these
Yeah,
stories
yeah.
here. It's like, I'm trying my best, but it's tough, and we're in the car right now. And they had 3 kids, this
Exactly.
particular situation. So how do you encourage that man to just be kind to the wife
Yeah,
who,
yeah.
allow God to use it? What would you say?
I first say I thank God for my wife for grace, because like there's been plenty of times I've been off the edge, even today. But I would say that a lot of times in those moments that as a man, sometimes you need a source, and first our ultimate source is God. But also you got to find some people that you can connect with, that you can tell that Me Too story,
Oh, yes.
because then that breaks down all those silos. Well, as men, sometimes we hold everything to ourselves.
Absolutely.
And because we hold it to ourselves, sometimes the quickest person to receive all of the anger or the moments that we have is our spouse. So it is very important that we be more intentional about finding spaces. And mental health is
Oh,
important.
my goodness.
So finding people
Yes.
you can talk to when you have situations that are hard, being able to peel away before you spill out, and actually take those times just to acknowledge first where you are, what you're feeling emotionally, and being able to pull back and express that to yourself, but also give it to God.
My goodness. So, somebody like me
Yeah.
who's here and the doorbell rings, ding dong, and I get all of that. What encouragement or what advice would you give to me? And especially in dealing with a male,
Yeah.
they're coming at me and telling me from all different angles. What advice would you have?
I would say first thing that my mom always told me as a little kid, because I tend to ramble a little bit, is you have 2 ears and one mouth. And I feel like sometimes, even as you're hearing the stories of other people and how much it can be weighted on you, one of the things that I've learned in life is taking first a moment just to listen and hear what's not being said.
Very important.
Because a lot of times with men, we say certain things, but that's an undercurrent that's underneath whatever the situation is. And being able to hear, but also help navigate and pivot people in the right direction. I think you've done a great job with that, with all the things you do.
My
Just to
goodness.
hear like where God has taken your ministry,
Lord.
and just to be encouraged in the moment. I know that sometimes things can be very hard and difficult. It can be weighty when you are the one providing. And when
Absolutely.
you're providing services to others, sometimes it can be draining as well. But
Absolutely.
even in those moments, there are times where God really is trying to cultivate us and shape us as leaders to be that ear, but also give perfect direction for other people.
Oh, my. I took all of that in, everybody, because there are times too that I have to be a little tough.
Yeah, yeah,
Because what you won't do is
exactly.
come here and tell me all about somebody else, what
Exactly.
somebody else did. What was your part in that?
Exactly.
So, and I tread lightly because you don't know mental health
Exactly.
is real, very real. And you have to be careful about how you approach certain topics. So, can you share with us, where maybe there was a situation that you've had to deal with where mental health was real, because you're going to see that it's very prominent. And some of the men, they've been in service, they've
Yeah,
served the country. Some of them have just been, tough times, and then some may have been in prison for a long time,
exactly.
or it may just be a regular Joe that he just having a hard time with the way the world is right now. So, with all of those different varieties and understanding that mental health is real, what's some of your best advice to be able to understand what's in front of you and then
Yeah.
to address it?
I'll first say one of the great things, the opportunities I've had is to spend a lot of time with veterans. I actually used to manage ERGs, employee resource groups. So I got to spend a lot of times with veterans who experience PTSD. I've even experienced where in education where I taught to youth who have some traumatic situations they face in their life where family members and things of that nature. Also hearing everybody else, but ultimately I've seen it myself. I struggle with it on an ongoing basis from having major surgeries. There are moments in my brain where I don't remember everything that I went through. But so sometimes there are times when it shows up when I don't want it to show up. And in those moments, like I'm experiencing the silence or the things that are frustrating me and anger me and things of that nature. I would say the great thing about God is he gives us moments to pause.
Yes,
A lot of times we don't do that.
that's right.
We just react to
That's
every
very true.
situation. And when we learn to respond instead of reacting, our life tends to change and shift how we see situations that we face.
Absolutely.
I know that a lot of times people talk about, there's a glass half empty or a glass half full. When I think about that half full idea, is that in life, there are challenges that we face. But as we go through those challenges and we see God in them, first thing we can recognize is we're not by ourselves.
That's right.
And it's when we understand that we're not by ourselves, it's easy to understand that we have someone we can rely on to help us get through certain situations that we may not understand.
Wow. So you're going to be on the platform on Saturday, sharing your story. I'm sure bits
Yeah.
and pieces of it. And there's going to be a sea of maybe 300 to 400 or more. As last year we were close to 400 people. You're going to get a mix. So what if, it's a child
Yeah.
that comes up to you, because that's exactly what happened to me in 2018. We were walking this neighborhood, well, the entire community, and we had all of these amazing Father's Day gifts to give out. We were so excited, me and the team, and we are going to make sure that every child has a gift to give to their dad. And then, I mean, we came back
Yeah.
and we were all heavy because we heard, I don't want no gift.
Yeah.
I don't know my daddy. My
Yeah.
daddy in jail.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to be faced with excitement like it went on Mother's
Yeah.
Day. We
Yeah.
run out of stuff on
Yeah.
Mother's Day. But we came back with all of our bags, with all of those amazing gifts. Ran into some men who didn't even want to take a bag.
Yeah.
And then there was one gentleman that paid us to give his bag to someone else. The level of just heaviness
Yeah.
that was on me and my team, we all walked back in silence. Nobody was talking. And I said, Lord, what should we do? This can't be. The man should be that strong force in the household. And these babies don't have that.
Exactly.
So how would you respond and share with a young person to encourage them? Or, one of the big boys is trying to be tough, but I could clearly see you're about to cry.
Yeah.
And so they're holding in these things. And that's part of why we have the Break Every Chain program at Thomasboro, to try to break through some of
Exactly.
those things while they're young. But these are big, teenagers. So what would you say? How would you approach?
I think that's the first I would be help me Holy Spirit.
Yes.
I just say that because every situation is different. And understanding that, knowing that whatever that moment is, God has appointed for a reason.
Absolutely.
And so when a kid comes to me, I've had it happen before, even with building relationships with youth. And when I was in education, there was one kid that didn't talk to me for a whole year
Wow.
because they wanted to see my consistency.
They look for that.
They look for consistency. And sometimes when there's an opportunity for them to share, like, I don't feel like this man deserves this, or I don't feel like they're worthy for this. I don't understand why we're celebrating him when he's not here. I think sometimes there's a moment just to pause to hear, express what you're expressing. And all I can do is tell them that, hey, as much time as I'm with you, I want you to know that I am someone that you can look up to as a male role model. I think sometimes it just starts there.
Yeah.
I think and
Back
then
to the
yeah, back
basics.
to the basics,
Yeah.
because if we don't have a strong foundation,
Yes.
we can come up and show up one day or show up in a moment. You can be excited, be inspired, or you can take it and like, I'll just take it and throw it away. but it's all about how we approach situations. I think sometimes in our lives we don't give our kids space to experience life and
So
actually say what's going on with them. And just like men, will we hide it or we hold it in?
right.
Sometimes they want to express it when they want to express it. And do we have the energy enough to just take it in, and then whenever we see them or just give them an encouraging word and let it be that seed.
Right.
Seeds don't, when you plant a seed, it's not growing tomorrow
That's
on the
right. On the
outside.
outside.
But
Right.
on the inside and underneath the ground is where the tilling goes. And sometimes when, like, you to talk about when y'all did everything, y'all gave an opportunity, you put it out there,
Mm-hmm.
and then it wasn't well received to some degree.
That's
But what I do have realized in my life, sometimes when it feel like it's not received, it's
right. It's
received.
received.
It's a
You gotta
seed that's
say
been
anyway.
planted.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be said, but they're gonna in their mind, they're like, you know what? What can is this true?
Mm-hmm.
Will this happen?
That's right.
Can this occur? And those are the moments where you just celebrate giving the opportunity to do it.
Wow, that's great. I know some of the ladies that were
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
They're like, "Why you didn't have a Mother's Day event? Why are you doing a Father's Day event?" I was like, "Because mothers are always celebrated.
exactly.
Regardless, good, bad, or indifferent, they are always celebrated.
100%.
But the way God aligned the way the family should
Yeah,
be,
yeah,
that part is broken. So we are going to celebrate these men. And it's going to be where I'm not going to allow anybody's head to be hung.
yeah,
And that's why everybody that comes in will get the whole Burger King. Everybody gets
yeah,
a head. But what I noticed in the first year was that the men were coming in, and, I was like, "Hi, sir," trying to make them lift their
yeah,
heads. And I was like, "Okay, I got to do something different next year. What am I going to do?" And I was like, "Something's got to be on their head so they can't hold their heads down." And then it was just a drastic difference from the first year to the next year in the pictures. I put everything side by side, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I want to spend a little time talking
yeah, yeah.
about how you hold your head up even in the tough times. What would you say to the men? Because honestly, many of them are only going to be holding their head up because they have the crown on.
Yeah.
So how do we keep them encouraged and just keep going?
I think one thing that's always encourages me and has encouraged me as a man is someone speaking to my future, not my past. You
Oh
know
my
what I mean?
goodness.
I think because sometimes what happens in our own life, we all have journeys of moments where we have made missteps or made
Yes.
mistakes. And sometimes we live in those mistakes so much so that we can't see what God is doing today.
That's right. And
As
even some of the people that we live with,
exactly,
they're going to
exactly.
remind you every
Look,
day.
and then sometimes we remind ourselves so much that we have that I would say that self esteem where we put ourselves down so much because we've seen where we made mistakes. We know our errors. We know what we've done, but we haven't even looked up to see where our help comes from.
Amen.
And I think sometimes what an encouraging word for me has been, because even I do this. Some people don't see it. Like you see the outer appearance, but the inside is like, oh God, please help me. I hope I'm
Yes.
saying the right things. I hope I'm encouraging someone. And I think for the men, what I would love to just encourage them to do is see where you want God to take you.
Wow. I think
Don't
very
look at where
wise.
you
Yeah.
are, right? Where you've been in your past. What can God do with your moment today?
Mm.
So if we focus there and we keep our eyes on him, it's easy to see the light and not see so much of the darkness.
Wow. I think that right there is just going to set the course. I know a lot of times when I put these events together and, the speaker has pastor in front of his name.
Yeah, I'm not. We can talk about that too.
Some people shut down and like, "Oh my God, we're gonna have church." I was like, no, that's not. You just need to be receptive. So how do get past the word pastor and just allow yourself to embrace?
Look, you talking about something I always tell people about. When I meet people, I'm always like, my name is Reggie.
There you go. That's
I am
it.
Reggie Robinson. That is who I am. Inside of the church doors, I am considered pastor of worship and arts. That's what I am inside of the church doors. But outside of the four walls, I'm Reggie. I'm always gonna be Reggie. I have my own identity, who
There you
God gave me,
go.
who
Yes.
shaped me to be who I am.
Come on
When
now.
I show up, you're gonna see the funny Reggie. You're gonna see the Reggie with energy.
That's
You're
right.
gonna see the Reggie who cares.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, I'm an encourager who God gave me the opportunity.
I love
And
that.
I just think that, that is so important because even friends of mine, they may be a doctor, they may be have that title as a doctor, but when I go and talk to them, it's hey, whatever their name is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not and I think sometimes we have watered down titles.
Ooh,
We have put so many titles on so many things that people can't see you.
right.
And when God calls my name, he ain't calling Pastor Reggie. He's saying Reggie.
Just Reggie.
Just Reggie. So I think that's important that I that's the thing that I love when I have conversation with people. You see me,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope you see my light. But that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. And I think breaking that
Yeah,
particular
yeah,
barrier out the gate,
yeah,
I Mac did this last year and
yeah.
I thought he did a great job, so and everyone was so receptive to his message. And so I always say to them, I was like, look here, I'm only going to bring what's good.
Exactly.
Even the food that comes here is only going to be what's good. And I see how, God is doing some amazing things in that. So I'm hoping with the journey that they've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
happening here at A Brighter Day. I mean, you may see salmon, New York strip steaks, crab legs.
Look.
This is not a regular, normal food pantry that's attached to this amazing place. So understand that the event itself is going to be outstanding. And I don't put people in position to, reach out and share a word that I don't believe is going to really bring something that's going to be nourishing to your soul. So when it comes to that, being that nourisher, what what is it that's special about you that would make someone feel like, man, I ate today. I ate what that message was so good. What is it that you feel like is so good about you? And I already know some of it, but I want you to tell the people.
First, I just say I appreciate the opportunity for one because like I know the work that you put behind
My
everything that you
Lord.
do, and just to get a opportunity to speak it does my heart well just to be able to attach to something that I know God is always doing something
Oh
great
my
in.
goodness. Yes.
And what's unique about me, I would say, is that I'm just me.
That part.
Every aspect about me, I'm just me. I'm an encourager. I'm a person who love God. I'm a person who love music. I love entertainment. I love fun. I love people.
Yes.
And I love my family. Like they are me. They're my comfort. They're my backbone for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're coming to hear someone who cares about you, cares about God, and knows you should be chosen just like everybody else, that's what you can expect.
There you have it, everybody. So you don't want to miss this event. Thank you so much
Thank you,
for
sister.
coming and sharing and just giving some folks the insight on what they can expect on that portion that's inspirational and, just in feeding the soul in just a different way. Other than the wonderful food that we are going to have hot dogs, hamburgers, fish, we frying fish, y'all. So make sure that you come to get your soul fed to where you are just a whole unit by the time you get ready to leave this amazing event. Again, thank you for being here today, and thank you for agreeing to be our inspiration during the Celebration of Kings 2026. So, again, my name is Beverly Knox Davis. Thank you all so much for always tuning in and always supporting what we have going here at A Brighter Day. If you ever want to volunteer, please reach out to us because we are always looking for those that want to give back. And of course, check us out on all of the major platforms and reach out and donate too. So we look forward to seeing everybody next Saturday, June 20th, from 12 until 4 p.m. at 511 South Hoskins Road. That's actually the Carolina Farm Trust Market here at Hoskins, right behind the Yellow Store. So we'll see you all then.